Where the girls
Welcome to Girl Talk with Amy, Anna, and Lisa.
Where the girls at? Come on, girls. Yeah, you know it's our world. So tell me, where the girls at?
Like many girlfriends, we get together, share what's going on with friends, family, life in general, good, bad. We're always here to support each other. When we visit each other, we spend time doing our girl talk in the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a place where we can be very vulnerable with each other, no judgments. We want to make sure we're uplifting and helping each other when we're down. However, when we're having great success, we're definitely supportive and we're cheering each other on. We are here to support all of you. We realized one day that we had to share this message with others. What we talk about in the comfort zone is something that can empower women all over the world. And we wanted to bring you into our world where we meet once a week. We hope that you enjoy our show. Please like, subscribe, and share with others. We'd love to hear back from you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Halloween edition of Girl Talk. That's right, the girls are in the comfort zone, decked out in our Halloween costume. We've got breakfast at Tiffany's. Say hello, Miss Ana Robles.
Hello.
We've got pandemic Lisa Garcia. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
You're out there in the desert. Are you parched?
So thirsty.
We are in the comfort zone. I'd like to see how you drink that coffee. Do you want to let the listeners know how you drink coffee? Show us, pandemic.
I was actually thinking maybe I should get a straw.
Very much, and welcome this morning, pandemic. I am Princess Tiger Lily, your host for the morning. You know, in the spirit of Halloween, we are sitting and we're chatting, and my girls and I are kicking around different ideas, and we thought about, what is your greatest fear? What is the fear, or what are you afraid of, or what scares you? Could be anything. And we wanted to share our thoughts. You know, we're all moms, we're all working moms, and we have life that happens, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. And, you know, we all are facing some fears, and we're dealing with some things that are very spooky and scary in our future. So wanted to take a few minutes to just share our thoughts with all of you. And by all means, we'd love to hear back from you, our listeners and our viewers. Miss Anna, you want to take it away?
Absolutely. So, as you all know, I am a business coach, mindset coach, and I work on my mindset. However, I'm only able to take my clients as far as I am able to go myself. So I recently hired a new coach who is a dear friend of mine, and she's incredibly amazing. And during those conversations, she likes to poke at you to try to get you to where you want to go, which is what we coaches get to do. And I discovered that I recently created a limiting belief or limiting decision that I'm afraid of success. And because of that, having that fear of that success, and success, you know, everybody has a different definition of success. And my definition of success has always been reaching my goals to be able to help other people. But somehow I created this fear, and I felt like I was being stagnant and I couldn't move forward. So I'm still processing, I'm still learning to try to figure out, but I figure out that the root has been, I'm just afraid to be bigger or make a larger impact. So I just kind of like sat there in my own cesspool and not creating what I needed to create. So thank God that she kicked my butt a little bit, and I have made some strides and some changes. But at the end of the day, it has been that fear, of, am I really capable of leading others? Am I really capable of making that impact that I keep talking about? And yes, I've created evidence to support that, and I have, but it was just an internal battle with me of feeling that maybe I wasn't good enough, or maybe I'm just afraid of succeeding. And that is something that's kind of scary to share. But, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, okay, I could take a deep breath and I could just be me and allow myself to sit in it so that I could learn from it, so I could be better and hopefully get over it quickly rather than later.
Yeah. The first thing that I thought of, and I want to hear what your thoughts are too, Lisa, on that. She's a business coach. She coaches people in life and how to take their business to the next level, mindset, etc. But did y'all hear that? She has a coach. So what does that mean? Like, in my mind, the first thing I thought of is everyone needs some support. It's okay. Being the Lone Ranger isn't what's going to make you successful. That's why I lean on you girls. That's why we're here. That's why we talk about this kind of stuff. I have a coach. The whole point is that you need others to catapult you, to help you, because sometimes you're sitting in your cesspool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to get out of it. But what do you think, Lisa?
There's not one person who just thought of, hey, I'm pretty inspirational, so I think I'm going to become a coach and inspire others. Your coach, Anna, had another coach, and their coach had another coach, and their coach had another coach. And it just became this domino effect where you found, hey, I can learn from this person and I can add on what more I have, and where places that I can help people that I didn't think that I could help before. I'm going to put this out there. I don't have a coach, but I have a therapist. It's, kind of the same thing. And I don't always have something detrimental going on in my life, but I still see my therapist pretty regularly, weekly, bi-weekly, just to go somewhere and vent about what's going on in my life or what's troubling me, and just to have someone listen and then give me advice if I need it. Look, hear it from someone else. And even I've run ideas by my therapist. I've had a relationship with my therapist for years, and not because I always needed one, but because I wanted a safe place to go and discuss those things that were going on in my life. And now today I can discuss those things freely and feel okay with it. Be my no filter self with my therapist that I can't be with my business partners or my clients. So we all learn from someone. We didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Right. So, since you're talking already, tell us what scares you.
I'm not going to say what scares me, but what fear I had in the past. So I don't discuss this with a whole lot of people, but I'm just going to throw it out there because that's where we are. We're in the comfort zone, right? I was married to someone for a lot of years who was emotionally, mentally, and verbally abusive. And there were other underlying issues with that person. So I found myself making excuses for him. Oh, he just, called me this name because of this reason. He didn't have a good night at work. He didn't have a good, I always made excuses of why he did the things or said the things to me that he did. And he used to tell me when I would say, this isn't working, I'm going to leave, I can't do this anymore. He would tell me, you can't be without me.
Wow.
Your life is nothing without me. You're always going to need me. That was his favorite phrase to say. You're always going to need me. And so ultimately, when we decided we were no longer going to be married, my fear was that I wouldn't be able to go on with my life without him, because that's what he had embedded into my brain. You're always going to need me. So I had it in my head, I'm always going to need you.
How long did it take you to break that thought process? Because Anna will talk about this, I hope. It's a mindset change, and you have to shift that mindset, and it may or may not happen overnight. How long did it take you?
Years.
Quantify years. How many?
At least 5 or 6.
Process.
You know, I'm a smart woman. I was an honor student in school. I went to college, graduated magna cum laude. My brain is smart, you know.
Book smart.
Book smart. But it's almost like you're being trained, you're being manipulated to believe, you're being brainwashed. That's the better term for it. The more you hear something, the more you start to believe it. And so that's where your mindset goes. And that's what you believe. And it took me years and years, because this person still stayed in my life. We have children together. So this person still stayed in my life up until about 3.5 years ago, when he was forced to be out of my life.
Wow.
And continued even after we were divorced, through the divorce process. Our divorce process took 2.5 years, because this person wanted to continue to control me. And even once our divorce was finalized, he still continued to control me. So he would still keep implanting things into my head that I still believed, or that I started to believe, until I finally said to myself one day, no more. This isn't going to happen anymore. He's full of shit. I am better than that. I am way better than what he says I am. And I'm going to prove, I wasn't proving anything to him, because I have no communication with him. Our children have no communication with him. So it wasn't something that I had to prove to him, but it was a mindset that I had to change to prove to myself that he was full of shit.
Right.
That I had gotten as far as I did without him, and I can continue to go far in my life, in business, with my kids, as a mom, as a partner with somebody else. Because they say it takes 2 people to screw up a relationship or a divorce or a marriage, but I can honestly say, and I've thought about this for years, and it's gone through my mind for years, there wasn't anything I could have done differently. There really wasn't. I made a good home for my children, for him. I was a good support person for him. I was a good business person for him. I was a good mom to our children. There was nothing more I could have done. I did everything he always wanted, everything he always asked of me. But so I don't take fault in being part of that demise. Until I changed my mindset, the fear was in my head. I'm always going to need him. I'm always going to need that alimony check from him. I'm always going to need that child support check from him. And for years, that's how I lived. Oh my God, he won't give me my check this month. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh my God, I can't pay my car. I can't pay my rent. I can't, he's not giving me my check. What am I going to do? Even though we had run a successful business together. I was probably the heart of that business. He was the performer. I was the person behind the scenes doing everything. And all he had to do is go out and do his job. Not saying that his job was any harder than mine, but I didn't need him. I could do it all without him, only I had the mindset that I couldn't, because that's what he convinced me of. So for years after our divorce, him saying, okay, I'll give you your check if you do this. You're not getting your check this week because you didn't do this. He still controlled me. And I had anxiety. I had depression because I kept thinking I would freak out. And there would be texting, there would be emails, there would be phone calls to attorneys, because our attorneys were always involved in all of this. I found out later on that he actually gave both of our attorneys, his and mine, anxiety every time we had a court date or every time they got a phone call from him. They were getting anxiety from him. So I knew that it wasn't me. So I got over that fear. And I can't say I woke up one day and said, okay, that's it. I'm not going to do this. It did take time, and it did take therapy, and it did take reading, self-help books, and it did take listening to people. I've always paid attention to what other people had to say. And maybe I didn't agree with everything. I would take little nuggets, which is what we do every day, right? We read books, we listen to podcasts, we watch TV shows and listen to doctors and things like that. And you don't always agree with everything. But you're always going to get something somewhere that goes, yeah, oh yeah, right?
Right.
That's what I did. And so it continued to be a healing process. And I'll tell you what, I have triggers still today. It's been 10 years since we first separated.
Yeah. I know that after listening to what Lisa said, boy, this is right in your wheelhouse. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, I don't know this person that you were, married to in the past. However, his actions are only talking about who he is. And he just seems to come across as someone that has some issues. And in order for him to find some control, he always tried to control you. What I want to congratulate you and applaud you for it is that you had the courage to walk away. And when you did that, even though it's taking some time, you're now creating new actions that are creating evidence to erase the evidence that he created. So he created this belief in you by every day stacking something new and some evidence. And now you've actually turned it around, reframed it, and now are creating the evidence to support the wonderful, beautiful woman that I know. And honestly, we've known each other for a while. We spend time together. I would have never known that you went through something like that, because the woman that I know now is a very strong, intelligent, beautiful, sassy woman that I would have never, ever known that you went through something like that. But reality is there's a lot of women out there that sometimes we are lacking that kind of support, or we just want to make the other person happy, and we just fall into that cycle. And there's so many women out there that I even at some point or another, we're like, oh, this person is going through that, it's okay. And we forget about ourselves because we just want to make that person happy. And then that's when we start creating that evidence and that belief that they just need something more, and let me just try it, and we forget about ourselves. And when we do that, it's when we start stepping back. And then it comes to a point that we're like, how did I get here? Because we kept supporting that person and forgot about taking care of us. So I commend you for really stepping away and for starting to take care of yourself and creating the evidence that you have created, because that evidence, you created it in your mind, and it's allowing you to continue to blossom and be this beautiful diva developer.
Oh. Story when we first met and we really started to getting to know each other, I was like, oh, I was just bawling my eyes out thinking, oh my gosh, I'll never forget that day. Remember when we sat there in the back office? Yep. And it was just amazing, because it's true. It's all about taking the time to do the work on yourself personally. So I guess it's my turn now, huh?
Amy, what's your fear? What fear?
Okay. So if you know me, I'm a little type A, just a little. And because of that, I'm extremely driven. So my fear, my whole life, has been the fear of failure in whatever I did. And I've learned that your definition of failure versus my definition of failure are two very, very different things. I was always striving for perfection. And if I wasn't perfect, it was considered a failure. And boy, have I learned to shift that mindset big time, because there is no such thing as perfection. It's only about being excellent and showing up in my excellence. And so many times especially in my career, and even in my life, they're like, oh, Amy, she's such a pistol, and that little girl is going to get whatever she wants, and if she puts her mind to it, she's going to accomplish it. Well, my thought was, not only was I going to accomplish it, but it had to be done just so. It had to be that picture that others, they think in the story. And that's really not how it has to be. I have my own path. And I'm very, very comfortable now with saying, it's all right, you do you, I'll do me. And what you perceive as a failure is just merely feedback for me now. Okay, so that didn't work. Okay, shift and let's go this direction. However, there have been those moments, and talk about the coach, right? My coach has really worked with me, especially early on, to overcome that fear. And it's pretty funny, because as I'm standing here in my office, I literally have an imaginary line. And so there's been multiple days that I've been very afraid and didn't know how I was going to do something or accomplish something or take the next step. And I would stand behind that line and I would look, and literally like this, nervous. And in my mind, think about what the next step is. What happens if I actually just try something? And I stare at the line and I stare at the line and did this. And I cannot tell you how many times I did that. And even going home to talk to my husband, the fear of, oh my gosh, the fear of failure, because I was doing things differently in my business and having to share that with him. And boy, this will be new news for him if he's listening to this broadcast, because I had to sit there and in the training that I've gone through, there's a process where you actually forecast what it looks like in the future, what that situation looks like in the future, what you envision that to look like. And you go back and you say, well, really, did it hurt that bad if it didn't work out the way you wanted to? Or look at how wonderful it can be, and look at how wonderful it's going to feel when you're done. And it allowed me to just say, hey, just step right over, walk right through and step into the next phase and take control. And that was a big, big deal. In that same fear of failure, coming from a family who, my grandmother was a depression baby, and I actually have her ration book. And that was something that I've held on to. And the way I was trained was go to school to get a job, to be able to take care of yourself, because she was abused. And that was truly the motivation, was to be able to not rely on a man, not have to worry about taking care of someone. Well, depression era, rationing, things like that, that was really about my money mindset. So when you're thinking about the fear of failure and where you're going to go with that, now you actually also come from a place of lack, as well as as opposed to the other side. So when you're driving in that direction, you kind of spin over and over and over and keep this cycle going. And it's about the mind shift as well. No, my coach says, if you're chasing money, it's like a dog. This is her metaphor. If you go running after a dog, what's the dog going to do? He's going to keep running. If you just change that mindset and you're living in it and you're manifesting, and how beautiful it is that, money flows freely to me, because if I just do the work and take care of who I am and I get over my fears, it's all going to be okay. I am who I am. I am where I'm supposed to be. And as I look at my goals, I will tell you, as soon as I shifted that mentality, those in my circle know how I'm achieving my goals. And that's truly, truly important to me. Knowing my why. So the fear of failure, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be this terrible person. I'm not going to achieve anything. However, I had to realize what I'm doing, I'm setting an example for my children. They are my why. And when I put all of that together and realized, wait a minute, I'm just showing my children that it takes hard work. I'm showing my children that it takes dedication. I'm showing my children what it takes to do what I want to do, to be able to bring something to the table and to be able to take care of my husband in my way, and to be able to create a life that I know that my husband and I have dreamed about. That's when it all kind of came together and just everything started falling into place. So mine was very much about me as a person and who I was to everybody else. The fear of failure, and making sure that I was comfortable with who I am, as opposed to pleasing everybody else. There is no failure. It's truly just feedback. It was a major, major fear that I was able to overcome, and it's quite nice to live on the other side. Let me tell you, because I just turned 50 this summer, and I would say that fear, I overcame that within just the last 2 years. So a long time living that way and shifting that mentality. It was a pretty big deal. So
Amy, so glad that you share these stories, because a lot of people think success is like what we see out in the surface, but they don't realize the story behind it, like how deep, how far it goes, and how much we actually have to overcome to get to where we're at. All they see is a beautiful, shining diamond, what we end up showing after all that hard work. But there's sleepless nights that we go through. There is a stress that we go through. But at the end of the day, we chose to take the bull by the horns and face that fear and be the best person that we could be. And just that we're able to share this with one another is amazing, because we do need each other's support just to be amazing.
absolutely.
Everybody's successes are different. It's not all about, oh, I want to be financially well off, and everyone's success level is different. Everyone's goals are different. And how we get there is different by listening to all three of our stories, how we got to where we got. But the one thing that we all have in common was our mindset.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The Halloween edition, for sure, took a hard left turn because those of you who are thinking Halloween and the ghosts and the goblins and all those scary things that we think about in Halloween, when the girls get together and we're sitting in the comfort zone, our fears are very, very different. And we share and we become very, very vulnerable and give this information to each other, and we sit in it and relish in the fact that what a wonderful success it is that we've come so far and overcome our fears. And I hope that today we only scratched the surface of each other's stories. However, I hope that a viewer or viewers can take something away from this. And if there's anything that you can take away from this, that you have others around you in your life, even when you feel very lonely, you really do have others that you can reach out to and ask for help. And if you are feeling like you don't, you have us. We're here. You're not alone. We are here, and we are vulnerable just like you are, and we're always here to help and talk.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week.
First of all, I look like a grandma with my glasses on. This little sheet thing I got going on. I can't even drink my coffee.
That was so awesome. Oh my gosh.
Are you wearing a dress, or are you just wearing like a really pretty shirt?
Wearing a dress. And I'm even wearing
Ow!
Okay, girls, are you guys freezing or is it just me?
What are we talking about?
No, why? Can you see my?
I've got
No.
felt on. Do you think I'm freezing? Oh,
I'm warm.
yeah.
No, I meant like the screen, like the Zoom freezing on
Oh.
you guys. Okay, girl talk.
My God. So freaking awesome. Gosh, that was awesome. You know, your middle-aged woman, when you talk more about your hormones and your body temperature, than
Technology.
Good.
Okay, taking this off. I can't anymore. I can't.
Where the girls at? Girl talk, girl talk, girl talk, girl talk, girl talk. Where the girls at? Come on, girls. Yeah, you know it's all real. So tell me, where the girls at? Where the girls at? Girl talk, girl talk, girl talk, girl talk, girl talk.
Oops, I'm losing my costume.
Come on, girls. Yeah, you know it's all real. So tell me,
From
where the girls
here.
at? This is girl talk.
Excuse-
Where the girls at?
It is girl talk. Let's get all adjusted.
I know.
Edit this part out, Rachel, right?
Yeah, you know it's all real. So tell me, where the girls
My,
at?
excuse me,
This
my
is girl talk.
dream catcher.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Shit. My ear things just died.
Where the girls at?
I can hear you.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound clear.
Right?
Yeah, you know
Far
it's
away,
all
huh?
real. So tell me, where the girls at? This is girl talk.
I kind of like that look too. It's like this Cleopatra. You're still in the desert.
Girl talk, girl talk, where the girls at? Come on, girls. Yeah, you know it's all real. So tell me, where the girls at? This is girl talk.